And welcome back to Hannity here now with reaction to my opening monologue on Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, his testimony today on Capitol Hill, and the corruption that is within Mueller's special counsel, author of the book, Trumped Up, How Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz is back with us. First, Professor, let me get your reaction to the hearing, and more particularly to this email exchange. And the depth in terms of this one guy struck taps into almost everything we have discussed for a year. Does the FBI not have any other employees? Because it seems like he's it.
Well, first of all, I want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah and in 12 days a Merry Christmas.
Day 2 today. Yes, sir.
And let me give you some legal context to this, I think. This is a terrible problem. It's a very serious problem. It's a problem not only of perception of bias, but the reality of bias here. And so any defendant who gets indicted by the Mueller group is going to be able to challenge their indictment in court. And here's the way Mueller is going to defend it. He's going to say, look, our statutes prohibit me from considering political affiliation in hiring people. I just hired the best people. They all happen to be Democrats who supported Clinton. The response to that is going to be, well, maybe not political affiliation, but bias within a political affiliation. These folks who wrote these emails, they should have been sensible enough to recuse themselves immediately. They have a strong bias, just like Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has expressed a very strong bias against President Trump, and I hope she will recuse herself in any case involving the president directly. So should there be a special counsel appointed? No, because I don't see evidence of crimes. But I think what Mueller should do is appoint an ethics consultant, somebody like a former Attorney General, Mike Mukasey, a former head of the FBI, Louis Freeh, to come in and do a complete evaluation of everybody on his staff. Look at every email.
That he needs it? To me, this is so transparent, the team that he's put together. You know Andrew Weissman. You've been you know this guy. He didn't belong on that team. You know, how many overturns are there? 9-0. You've argued before the Supreme Court.
Yep. It's a very good question. Andrew Weissman has a reputation of being an excellent, very tough, somewhat zealous lawyer. I didn't know anything about his political affiliation. I actually had a case against him not so long ago. He's very, very good. He never should have sent that email congratulating Sally Yates. Sally Yates should not have been congratulated. Well, I wrote an op-ed piece saying when you're the acting Attorney General of the United States, you enforce the law.
How about withholding exculpatory evidence? How about in other cases what could only be deemed as beyond aggressive tactics to get convictions?
I agree with you. As a civil liberties lawyer, I am appalled when prosecutors withhold exculpatory evidence, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. We have to defend the civil liberties of all Americans, starting with the president. And there are so many partisans out there who say, all right, we're civil libertarians, but we got to get rid of this president, so let civil liberties be put aside. And that's what some of these emails suggest, that they were prepared to do anything to get rid of this president, and that's a bias.
What about this one particular text message? And we only have less than 400. There are over 10,000. Can't wait for the rest of them. But I want to believe the path that you threw out for consideration in Andy's office. I believe they're talking about McCabe. Personally, it's a guess. I haven't confirmed it. That there's no way Trump gets elected if we follow that path, is what they're saying. I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. That's chilling to me, that email.
It is, and I think there has to be an investigation of that, but I don't want criminal investigations. We should start with ethics investigations, congressional investigations. I always suggested a nonpartisan commission like the 9/11 Commission, but when you start with the special counsel, you're immediately saying there must be crime here, and I think that's wrong on both sides. So I'm opposed to the Republicans' call for a special counsel, just as I was opposed for the appointment of Mueller as a special counsel. We have to get the criminalization out of our system and start looking simply to learn the truth. And we have to find out everything we can about any bias of anybody in the Mueller probe. Otherwise, it's simply not going to have credibility, and it's going to be subject to challenge by any criminal defendant who was indicted by this special counsel.
All right, Professor. Love your keen intellect. And if people want to have some fun following you on Twitter against Lawrence Tribe, it's a bit of an intellectual
As you know,
trip.
I challenged him to a debate, and he said, well, maybe in May. Well, you know, seize the day. Let's have a debate now.
I will tell you, Professor, I will give you 2 seats here on my set. Great. And it will be an open debate, and I'll stay out of it. How's that?
I accept.
Full hour.
I accept.
One-on-one. You got it.